Hey everybody and welcome. My name is Gene Marks and I'm glad that you're joining me here today for a very quick update on what's going on with the Paycheck Protection Program. I'm a certified public accountant. I run a company outside of Philadelphia called the Marks Group PC, and also I do a lot of writing. So I write for The Guardian, I write for The Hill, I write for the Washington Times, Philadelphia Inquirer, Forbes Entrepreneur, all on matters affecting small businesses that affect you as a business owner. And I've been writing and talking a lot about the Paycheck Protection Program. And what I want to do is I want to give you some updates on that program so that you are fully able to take care of forgiveness when it comes time to do so. So let's get to it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen so I can bring up a PowerPoint, and I'm going to cut out my videos just for now so that you can watch what's going on in the PowerPoint. And let's talk about some of the changes that are going on in the Paycheck Protection Program. This is effective as of now, so hopefully this will help you to get full forgiveness. This webinar, as you know, it's been prepared for informational purposes only. It's not intended to provide, should not be relied on for tax, legal, or accounting advice. You should consult your own tax, legal, and accounting advisors before implementing any business changes. And just remember that the information and the advice that I'm giving is really my information and advice. I want to thank On Deck for sponsoring this presentation and providing this great information, or allowing me a platform to provide this great information. But remember, this information is provided by me as a certified public accountant, and should not be considered to be legal or accounting advice. You should seek out your own experts to do just that. Okay, so as far as the Paycheck Protection Program is concerned, on June 17th, the U.S. Small Business Administration, in consultation with the Department of the Treasury, issued a Paycheck Protection Program loan forgiveness documents, incorporated changes made in the Flexibility Act of 2020, and it was signed into law by President Trump on June 5th of 2020. And the SBA and the Treasury released a revised loan forgiveness application and a new easy version document that I think will apply to many of you watching today. So that's what we're going to discuss in this webinar. Remember that in addition to releasing those updated loan forgiveness application documents, it also updated a key rule that has to do with your compensation that you can apply for forgiveness. So we're going to cover that as well. And this is the full URL for the Treasury document where you can get the information you need to sort of back up what I'm talking about in today's webinar. So let's talk about changes forgiveness. There's two things that we're going to cover in this session, two big things that affect you and that were effective as of June 17th, 2020. The first, there is a new easy application, which I will discuss, that's applicable to certain people that are applying for forgiveness. And number two, there's been a change to how you calculate your compensation so that you can apply for forgiveness when that time comes. So the first thing that we want to talk about is the new loan application. It is certain things that you should be aware of. Number one, first of all, is if you are going to apply for forgiveness under the Paycheck Protection Program, you don't have to wait until December 31st. The program, the forgiveness period was extended to December 31st. You don't have to wait until that. There's new provisions that now allow you that, once you've incurred your expenses that you believe will give you forgiveness, if you think you can get full forgiveness, apply, talk to your lender and get that process going. You can do it sooner rather than later. If you received a loan before June 5th, you can continue on with the 8-week covered period, or you can choose the new 24-week covered period for forgiveness. So if you think that you've gotten all of your expenses in for forgiveness within just 8 weeks, go for it and apply for forgiveness. If you think you need extra time, the full 24 weeks, you can do that too. So really anybody that applied for Paycheck Protection Program loans, regardless of when you applied, even if you applied before June 5th, you can make the choice between those two periods. And also, the term for the Paycheck Protection loans has now been raised to 5 years. Just bear that in mind for any loans that are made after June 5th. So you can now pay them back in 5 years. So just bear in mind, these are some of the changes that were made to the overall loan forgiveness application, the main one. But now there's a new application that may apply to you. It's called the EZ application. It's a short form. It doesn't require all the documentation. It doesn't require all the representations that you think that are going to be needed in the full form, and it certainly requires less calculations. It is geared towards 3 types of borrowers. So let's see if you fall into the category of one of those 3. The first one is whether or not you're just self-employed or you have no employees. If you are self-employed, if you're just an independent person, you've got nobody on your payroll, you are eligible to use the EZ application. Number two, even if you are a business that does employ other employees, you're not just self-employed, but you do have a payroll, but you represent that you did not reduce the salaries or wages of these employees by more than 25%, and you did not reduce the number of hours of your employees during the forgiveness period. If that's the case, then you are also eligible to use the EZ application. And finally, in deference to some business owners that have really been struggling, if you received reductions in your business activity as a result of health directives related to COVID-19, they shut you down, and you still did not reduce the salaries and wages of your employees by more than 25%, if you did all of that and you represent as much, then you can also use the EZ application. Now, the full application and the EZ applications, like mentioned earlier, they give you the option of using the original 8-week covered period if that's what you want to do, or you could use the extended 24-week covered period as well. The SBA and the Treasury Department are hoping that this whole thing will result in a more efficient process, make it easier for businesses to realize their full forgiveness and see what is owed to them. So number one big change from June 17th, the new EZ application. If you fall under these criteria, you may be able to use it. It'll streamline your forgiveness process and hopefully make things that much easier to get forgiveness on your loan. The second big change that came about on June 17th has to do with owner's compensation. Now, under the existing Paycheck Protection Program, if you're a non-employer now, that's what it applies to. So you're self-employed, you're an independent contractor, you're a sole proprietor, somebody like that, you're limited to how much of a paycheck protection loan you can be used for, not only to calculate the loan, but also for forgiveness. Well, there's been some changes. Now, originally, the forgiveness was based on that 8-week period, and you were supposed to take the similar period from 2019. That's the way to calculate your owner's compensation. So this is the basically your self-employment income from 2019. You take 8 weeks up to $100,000. So it's 8 weeks divided by 52 weeks times your 2019 net employment income. This comes from your 2019 tax return, and you can only take a max of up to $15,385. Because if you annualize that brings you up to the $100,000 cap. Well, that changed. Now, if you're going to go for the 24-week period, you can actually claim more compensation for forgiveness. So remember that you've now got this option, and the compensation has to now do for 24 weeks. You can now claim, instead of just 8 weeks, you can claim 2.5 months, which is 10 weeks of 2019's net profit. Again, your self-employment profit that was showing on your tax return from 2019, again, up to the max of $100,000. So the calculation is 2.5 divided by 12 months times 2019. Now the new max is $20,833, which again, if you annualize that brings you up to $100,000. So again, if you're an independent person, if you're filing a pass-through return, if you're trying to calculate your owner's compensation, you're gonna focus on 2019 for your owner's calculation, and you can use you've got the 8-week period if you want to use that, but you really can. If you elect the 24-week forgiveness period, you can use a new calculation which gives you more compensation that you can use and be eligible for forgiveness. So quick recap then. Number one, there is a user-friendly forgiveness application. It's called the EZ application. So if you qualify for that, you definitely want to consider using it. And number two, if you're an owner and you filed a pass-through return and you want to get forgiveness for your compensation and you elect the 24-week period, you can now claim up to 2.5 months of your owner compensation based on 2019 for that forgiveness. So that is the changes that were made on June 17th regarding the Paycheck Protection Program. And I just want to make sure that that we realize that there's other changes that are likely going to be coming, And as these changes occur, I will certainly be updating you. This is my email address. If you have any questions, you can email me directly. I want to thank On Deck Capital for sponsoring this as well and providing the great services that they do to get money out to small businesses that need them. So I want to thank On Deck Capital for that. Again, if you're applying for forgiveness, you've got till the end of the year to apply if you want to, although you can apply earlier. So, get all those expenses together, get your documentation together, and that way you can apply and get full forgiveness. So again, thanks for watching. Hope this information helps. And I'm sure we will be back soon with more information and more updates to the Paycheck Protection Program as that information becomes available. Take care.